A road trip only turns into a great drive when the pleasures of the journey are equal to the delights of the destination. And if you also meet the right people, it is certainly more rewarding and fun.
Hello Bob and welcome aboard Iris.
Thank you, Dhananjay. Thank you, Anjali, for having me over for breakfast on a boat. I don't think I've ever done that before. And, to see the sun rising on these backwaters, it's such a lovely way to start the day.
Let's be on our way.
Let's go. Let's go.
So if we get lucky, we get to see some herbivores on the shore.
And I already saw some birds flying there and, calling out their good mornings.
So this is a haven for migratory birds.
What about the mammals and all? They must be coming down to the water quite often?
Oh yes, a lot of herbivores generally come down to graze on the soft grass, and where the herbivores are, the carnivores are close on hills. Mornings and evenings we get a very good sighting of herds of bluebills, of sambars, of black bucks. Occasionally we will have a big cat closely following them.
In fact, this is a leopard country, I would add to that. On this side, we generally see a lot of leopards moving. And towards the core area, you see a lot of tigers.
Rivers and lakes have their own charm and character, and after a wonderful water safari, we got into the Maruti Suzuki Grand Vitara Strong Hybrid and went around the Ratapani Wildlife Sanctuary for an exploration drive.
Namaskar, namaskar. What an amazing place, Dhananjay.
So this stretch of Kolar River is basically known as Bhagner.
Okay.
And as the river, meanders through, in a serpentine manner, this place is known as Bhagner Ka Fair. This river is like a lifeline for the entire ecosystem that is downstream. This is where all the avian life and all the animal life will converge for the month of summers.
You can really hear the forest coming alive now. As the sun is setting, the jungle is waking up. अब वापस जाते जाते थोड़ी नाइट सफारी भी हो जाएगी.
बिल्कुल.
Animals don't know the boundaries of man-made sanctuaries, and while driving in forest areas, there is a chance of sighting some wildlife. And if it happens after dark, and if it is something as powerful and majestic as a tiger, it really is a thrill beyond compare. And as any true wildlife lover will tell you, sweet dreams are made of this. Who am I to disagree? After happy dreams of jungles and tigers, I was fully charged to continue on this great drive. And as it happens so very often in our vast country, I made some completely unexpected but pleasing discoveries.
Anjali, I don't recall when I've seen such a clean village in our country. Just look at this, using all these old discarded containers and they made them into dustbins, and I see the entire streets lined with them.
I think this is a culture with tribal people around here. They keep their houses really spick and span.
So Anjali, this तो is really Swachh Bharat. यहाँ एक कचरा पेटी है, यहाँ रास्ते पे सड़क पे कहीं कचरा नहीं दिखता है, और यहाँ क्या लिखा हुआ है?
स्वच्छ भारत, कृपया कचरा कागज पन्नी आदि कचरा पेटी में ही डाले। नोट, रोड पर कचरा फेंकने वाले से 11 रुपए का दंड लिया जाएगा।
So Anjali, when we were driving, we were talking about these fields and all these little machans everywhere. Why are we seeing so many machans here?
This is the way they protect themselves and the fields from the wild animals. You'll see a lot of herbivores moving into these fields during this time when they have the crops in the field.
Also, these trees that we are saying, you were mentioning something that though these are cultivated fields, they'll cut all the other trees, but they leave these trees standing. Why?
Yeah, because these are mahua trees, Bob, and farmers will never cut mahua trees. These are so special because, the flower is important. They make that liquor from these flowers, and then once the fruit is ripe, they take out the oil from it, and once it's dried, then they use it as protein supplement in the food. So every part of that fruit flower is used by the farmers, and of course it's very important as a beverage, the flower beverage.
I've heard a lot about the local mahua and the magic of mahua.
After the enlightening conversation about machans and the intoxicating one about Mawa, the heady local brew, we headed for a wildlife safari into one of India's prettiest protected areas.
So Anjali, that was a really nice drive we did through the Satpura Tiger Reserve. So when we were driving, I saw we have teak trees, sal trees, all beside each other. Then those ghost trees that...
They look fabulous. They look magnificent. The pink skin of the tree goes, and then the white skin glows in the sunshine, in the moonlight also. If you get to see a ghost tree in the evening, it shines like a creature of some different world.
And we saw one which had its arms wide open like that, to give you an embrace.
Yes.
I was noticing that all the animals that we are seeing are in very good physical shape. Their coats are shining.
Right. We just saw the herd of bison on the way. And did you see the male, the alpha male of the group? It looked fabulous. I've heard that there are around 8 varieties of grass found over here, which is very, very good for the herbivores.
The herbivores are getting a lot of good nutrition.
Yes.
And then the carnivores that prey on them are also enjoying some really good food.
Okay.
And I've always marveled at the size of the animals you see here. The way they move, you see a tiger put his thing out here and you can see the muscles, So it's lovely. They're all Rambos here in this forest.
Yes.
And I'm fortunate that I'm seeing this beautiful region with you. Thank you very much, Anjali.
Another delightful drive took us to Pachmadi, which in my view is the secret glory of Satpuras. The colonial influence on this hill retreat is evident in its aesthetic bungalows and charming churches, especially the Christ Church that was built in 1875. Though this church has suffered the ravages of time, its stained glass windows, which were imported from Europe, are still a beautiful sight. Traveling with Dhananjay, Anjali and their son Ameya was loads of fun, and while sitting around the cozy campfires on a cold and foggy but glorious night, I learnt that this remarkable couple had spent several years in the corporate world before giving it up and getting into wildlife and tourism.
For me, it was actually a 18-year long wait, and I always wanted to really get into the wildlife and the nature hospitality sector.
I learnt about the trees, the nature, and insects.
I'm sure when you go into the cities now, you must be finding it a big change. I mean, we've not heard a single vehicle horn here.
I think I would say that for Pachmadi, I have a very nice phrase for this place that we time travel over here. So it's like, going into some era which is like bygone, and we kind of relive it.
And I'm reliving it with you. Eh?
Happy to have you with us.
Well, Dhananjay, I believe we are at the highest point in central India.
Yes, Bob. Dhupgarh at 4,429 feet of height from mean sea level is the highest point in central India.
And the view from here, it's absolutely, heartwarming to see that all these hills are covered with thick forest. And this, I believe, is part of the Satpura Tiger Reserve where we've been, moving around.
We are in the heart of Satpura Tiger Reserve.
And I hope, elsewhere we have cut our forest, destroyed all the natural wealth and heritage of our country. And you see bare hills in most places, but here I'm so thrilled to see that, it's yet got this natural and thick forest. I hope and pray this survives for future generations and the young tiger will be able to enjoy this land of the sun, the land of wildlife, and land of the tiger.
Thank you.